Hey everybody, hopefully this is coming through this time. We'll see what's going on. Trying to play around with some sound and doing different setups with live feeds and things. So I'm just kind of experimenting. I don't have all the high dollar expensive cameras and setups and microphones and stuff. So hopefully the sound comes through on this. I've got a little heater running in the background that's pumping heat into this room and a compressor out there. So just kind of give me feedback if the noise level gets a little high. Um, and the focus is going to go in and out a little bit probably. But first off, Merry Christmas Eve. Um, I hope you're all enjoying it. If you took time to watch this video, then thank you for tuning in. What I wanted to talk about, just kind of show the progress on this. This is actually a 1964 Ford Galaxy XL 500 trunk lid, and some friends of mine won Best of Show in the Elko Rides and Rods car show this past year in September. So they wanted me to do some artwork on their trunk lid. So they picked out the image, and this is what they came up with. And right now I am working on blocking in all the grayscale values and stuff. I'm using a uh, House of Color grayscale Grisaille grayscale kit, Grisaille. So I blocked in a big chunk of this with 50% neutral gray, and that gives me a good base to start with. Then I used a projector. I projected the image on here that they are looking for, and then I started to trace everything out to give me my good reference points. And then I used a number 3 value, so it goes from uh, 1 to 9. 0 is black, 10 is white, so dark to the brightest values. But I used a number 3 value, which is just 2 slots below the neutral. So that's the curtain colors. I blocked in all the shapes, and once I was comfortable with where my image was setting, I bumped up 2 steps above the number 5 value, and that is the lighter colors, just to round out my form. Then as I worked, so from a number 5 to a number 7, so that gives me my good mid-range highlights and darks. Then I go back through and I'll just work back and forth. So I'll go from, that number 7, I'll go back in, I'll either go a little bit darker with like a number 2, number 4, uh, just to start rounding out the shapes and the form until everything balances out to where I need it. Once all of this is done, like I said, I'm using House of Color urethanes on this. Once all of this is finished and I'm happy with those shapes and forms, I will go through with createx illustration colors and actually mix my colors and go over top of this and get my color range. So if anybody's interested, wants to see so this is actually what the image will look like if you can see that. Um, and it's over a green. So I did a grayscale just to give me a good base to work with as far as the grayscale Grisaille color scheme. Help me get my values right, and then when I'm happy with that, I'll go back over it with the colors to get the color values and everything. And if there's any issues, I can just go back and forth. Easy to correct, just because grayscale, you're not messing with a lot of colors. A lot of people, some artists disagree, but if anybody out there does happen to know who Steve Gibson is, Air, Oil, and Lead, that's his set. He's come up with this process, and in my opinion, he mimics. His theme is basically mimicking oil painting in the old masters. For somebody that struggles with color, this works best for me. I don't always use this technique, but it really helps establish your tones and your form, and it's easy to fix. So if you mess up, you can correct it without messing up all your color. You can go through and fix the form, fix the shapes, fix the values, do all of that, get it where you want it to be, and then all you just got to do is mix the color and go over top of it, and the values, as long as you're using illustrations and they're transparent colors, that transparency will show through and your values will show through. And you might have to tweak your color a little bit, but to me, in my opinion, if you struggle with color or anything like that, it's still challenging, but it lends itself to a much easier process, in my opinion. But I'm not taking credit for this being my system or anything. I met Steve in 2016 and went through a class with him and automotive murals on steel down in Vegas. And to me, this is what I've been waiting for years to help me get better throughout my airbrush process. So, Steve, if you're out there, or if you know Steve, he's a killer artist, killer airbrush artist, and he just is phenomenal in the stuff he does. It helps me. His process helps me improve on mine. Of course, I'm nowhere near as good as Steve is, but this process has changed the way I approach airbrushing. So the way I started out on this was it was provided to me. It's all painted, clear coated. I went through and it's got about 5 coats of clear on it, I believe is what they told me. I went through and wet sanded this and got the texture I needed so that this would adhere well. And then I just started airbrushing. So what I do today, this isn't going to be a huge long video. I just wanted people to see the process and what's going on with this, and hopefully you like it. Hopefully you like the image that they picked. It doesn't matter because it's theirs and they love it. And I'm hoping this will turn out really cool, especially with this being a best of show car. Once it's all said and done, this will be outstanding and will look great on their cars, so they can take it to other car shows. Um, anyway, so I've done the dark values, the light values, the midtones, and I'm going back through now and I'm just fine tuning. So I got a little dark on some of these areas, so I actually am lightening them back up with a number 5 to get back to that midtone. And then I'll brighten up these brightest highlights. It's a little washed out because it's uh, very bright up in the hair and face areas. And then I'll darken up or lighten up these dark areas here at the bottom, I believe. Just trying to get my values where they need to be. So if you're on, sorry I can't see my comments or anything. I've got I'm messing around a little bit trying to fine tune these live feeds and do some more processes for you. So if you are watching, I do appreciate it. I'll try messing around with this a little bit and get a little better. So if the feed's a little awkward, apologize for that. I'm just getting started on this stuff, and every time I try this, it seems to not go quite as planned. So I'll see if I don't see any. Sounds great. Image. Oh, there. Okay, I can see my comments now. So hopefully, if you're watching, this works great, and I'll get started. Like I said, I got a compressor and a little heater going in the background, so hopefully that noise isn't too terrible. And uh, I'll just get started. I'm going to do something. Like I said, it's not going to be a huge long video. I just wanted to get on here, do some tests, explain the process. It's been forever since I posted on YouTube. So on the YouTube side, I apologize, guys. I got started on it. I had high expectations, high hopes, and it just turned out to be a lot of work. And I'm trying trying to get back to doing those videos. So, again, if you follow me on YouTube, continue to like it. I'm going to be posting more as I can. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate it. And well, hopefully this feed works both ways. I'm going to start doing a little more, uh, vertical formats, some reels, cutting up these. But appreciate you watching. Uh, well, hopefully this is working out pretty good. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself a lot. Just trying to think of everything. I kind of threw this together with it being Christmas Eve. If you're watching, I appreciate it. And let's get into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to go in here and I'll just do some airbrushing. I'll try to watch these comments, see if anybody's got any questions, if there's anybody that logs in. But I know my wife's watching on the other computer in there. And love you, Shelly. Thanks for helping me out with this. And I'll get started. So the airbrush that I'm using is an HPC Plus. This is good all-around workhorse of an airbrush. The only thing I really use is Iwata brand. I love Iwata. I love Createx. This is actually the first job I've done with House of Color urethanes. So far, I absolutely love them. It works great. Also, since these are urethanes, once this goes down, I don't have to worry about water-based bleeds or streaks or anything like that. It's on here. Um, when I'm done with this value, I can go over top of it with the water-based paints. If I make a mistake, it's easy enough to wipe off or fix or correct. Or once it dries, I can go back over that with the urethanes with no issue. Paint's paint. Once it dries and it's lost all its vapors and it's trying to think of the term here. Anyway, once it's evaporated and it's just the pigment that's left, it doesn't matter. You can go over top of it. It should be okay in most cases. Going over it, never had an issue in the past or anybody else that I've heard of mixing the two, water-based and the urethanes. So as long as everything's dried and cured, and you shouldn't have an issue. So if I do need to correct anything value-wise, I can go back over the water-based paints. Like I said, I'm only running about, I don't know, 50 psi through this, maybe. Um, and the airbrush, I said, it's HPC Plus. It's a .3 needle and works great, especially for larger stuff blocking in. But it also does fine line. So unless I really, really need to get super detailed, and then I would go to an Iwata Eclipse. I believe the one I have is like a .2, and they do have like a .15 or so, but I didn't do the upgrade on that. But anyway, I'll hopefully this is all freehand, no stencils or anything like that, other than the tracing of it with the projector, just to get my placement, and everything else is freehand. And I'll go back and forth and I'll tighten this up with the grayscale. The number 5 right now, like I said, I got a little dark in some of these areas, so I'm fixing it. And some of these were just markers. So now I'll go back in and I'll just tighten it up and I'll get my form correct and make sure that everything is tight. And I'll get tighter as each value goes in. I may see some mistakes, and I don't like where the form is or the shape is, and I'll fix that. I'll tighten it up and make sure that it's not so loose. Um, right now, I'm gonna, like I said, back to a number 5 value, which is your neutral mid tone. And any place that I went too dark or too light, I'll take it back to that mid tone and tighten it up, and then I'll check the values between what I fixed, and it just helps me fix the form. So, all right. Well, I'm using this as my guide here, and I've already reworked some of this area in here that I got too dark with, and I will try to get a little closer. Oh, sorry if that focus is going in and out, but I'll pick a spot, and like right in here, I can tell I really dark, got really dark. So I can go back in here and lighten this up with a lighter value, and let's get airbrushing. I've jabbered a lot, so hey, thanks, Margie. Glad you logged in. Anybody else is on here? Shelly. And one thing too, the nice thing about these grayscale values is you want to lay them on full, 100%. You can do a little bit of blending to get your form and your shape and stuff. You still will run into some blue shift if nobody knows what that is. Um, when you use whites and blacks, white's not 100% white, and black's not 100% black. Black is every color, and white is no color. So as you mix those two, you'll get a shift and you'll see a blue. One way normally you combat is to add a little bit of yellow, or you know whatever you do to combat it. There's a couple different ways, but this, if you work closely between your values, you don't have a lot of that blue shift. But if you go extreme and go from like say, a really bright number 9 and then to a really dark number 2 and try to blend those two together, you will still get that blue shift, even though the pigments in here are manufactured as the grays. You'll still see that blue shift. It'll get kind of weird and funky looking. So you want to keep your steps close. You can go a couple steps high, a couple steps low, and avoid some of that. But if you lay this down, you want to lay it down solid. You can do a little bit of blending, but that's what the values are for. So you don't want to take a number 6 or a number 7 or 8, to the lighter side and try to blend it all the way down to a number 4, number 2, number 3, whatever. You want to use those value steps in between and then blend the two together. So you would blend a 4 and a 5, and then a 6 and a 5 in order to get your values, and it gets a lot cleaner, crisper look, and you don't have a lot of that shift that you'll run into with using blacks and whites. So it helps with that again when it comes to if you struggle with color, uh, trying to find the complements, or what color do I mix to get rid of this color because it's too orange? Do I need to mix this color in there to pull out some of that orange or red or whatever it is? The grayscale just helps you get all your values correct. And then you just got to worry about mixing your colors for that specific area, which can still be a struggle. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not 100%. foolproof, but it does help a lot. Um, hey, thank you, Mary Kay. And I will say right off the bat that this is not my original artwork. I did not come up with this. They found this, but they really love the flow and the color scheme that going against the green. You wouldn't think orange and green would go too well together, but it's actually a very nice piece. I don't know who to attribute this to. I believe this was an AI created image by someone online, and I tried to research who created it, but I am changing it some. I'm not copying 100%. I'm getting the form and changing some of the flow and the pattern. The neckline will change. There's a pretty good neck hardware on the main image. Um, it's a little busy, so we're changing it on the image for the vehicle. Uh, One thing I will say is when you get real busy with all of this flow, when you're starting out, laying out your darks and your lights, it can get very mentally confusing. It's just tough to follow along on all of these movements. So that's where you find your balance between the art that you're referencing and your flow. Um, like I said, there may be some of these after staring at this thing forever, trying to block in the different values. My eyes crossed quite a few times, and I had to take a break. And, it could be challenging at times, but this is going to be an awesome piece once it's done. Um, Thanks, Dee Dee. Appreciate it. Nice comments. All right. Like I said, mainly I come on here just to explain everything for a while. Where the process was. This is a little short video, just about a half hour or so. Um, so hopefully I'll keep showing progress shots of this, and I'll do some more videos as I get tighter with this, and you'll see the difference between where I'm at now and where I'll be in the future. Whoop, sorry, I didn't see that, Edie. Make sure you get a booth for the Carlin Car Show in 24. Yeah, and this past year I kind of got behind the eight ball a little bit, so this year, hopefully going forward, I'm gonna start planning for all of those future shows and not pull it out at the last minute. So I'll hopefully get that stuff set up and just like to do some smaller panels and some pieces and hopefully get some more business and sell some panels. That'd be cool. Hey Kay, thanks for joining. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate it. Yeah, if anybody tried to view the live feed I did earlier this week on Thursday, yeah, we had some issues with it. It kind of fell apart on us. But like I said, I don't have all the fancy, $900 cameras and mounts and stuff. I was working off a couple USB videos, webcams and stuff, and just wasn't quite working out. So I tried this. I'm actually just running off my phone. That's what's taking this video, and I'm using Restream to post this to YouTube and to Facebook. So we'll see we'll see how that works. If this works out pretty good, I may just do that. Just do a single camera. Hopefully the image is showing good and the sound is good. I haven't picked up like a lapel mic or anything yet, so hopefully that audio is coming through good. Um, yeah, it's just trial and error. I've had the ability to set up live feeds for about a year, and every time I've tried it, it's messed up. But biggest thing is just keep driving forward and pushing this stuff so you guys can see how I work and what I work on, and keep the engagement up. So appreciate the comment, Kay. I'm pretty humble. I still think there's a lot more I can do better, but I appreciate the comment that my talent's amazing. It's taken a lot of practice. 10 years I've been working on this airbrushing, and I just love what I can do with it. And I just hope everybody that I show it to just appreciates it. If anybody knows anybody else out there in the world that wants some airbrushing done for them, let me know. Nice thing is you don't see a lot of people doing what I do here. I know there's a couple, but um, I'd like to kind of corner that market here with my talent. Well, thank you, Kay. How's the weather in Ohio right now? Kind of miss being in Ohio. Around 50, not that bad. Yeah, this time of year, that's not bad at all. Okay, everybody. Like I said, it's been about 45 minutes, so just a nice, quick, short video, and appreciate those of you that did log in to watch this. Thanks for the feedback. Glad that the sound is coming through. Glad the video is coming through. Um, we'll keep trying to improve these and get a little more comfortable talking on camera and things like that, and more in depth as time goes on as far as projects and how tos, things like that. Again, Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and holiday season. Enjoy it with your family. Um, keep going. You want me to stay on here, Shell? I'll give the delay a few seconds to pop in. All right. I know I've said it twice, but this time we'll cut it loose. So again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. If I don't see you guys before then, enjoy your holidays. Hold each other close. Love each other up. I love you guys out there. I love my wife for helping me out with this, and just enjoy life. blessed. So, uh, Merry Christmas.